Hey guys, this is Poet Spice and I'm here to do this month's edition of the embellishments on the 11th. 1-1-1-1. How is it already July 11th? Where is summer going? Where's summer going? Anyway, so this is hosted by Deb Hauck, and we are supposed to go through our stash and make embellishments. So I was trying to go through my stuff and I was like, I don't know what I want to make. I don't know what I want to make. And then I pulled out some stuff, you know, from the stash, right? From deep back in the day. And I pulled out this die. So it is a diversions die, I believe. I got this on Dies R Us. Because, you know, I didn't pay full price for this back in the day. But it's a retro and I was feeling it. I'm like, yeah. So I took this and I took some space paper. I bought it on Amazon because I used it. Actually, I used it in my journal, but I also used it in my reading journal in 2024. And so I did that. And then I took some archivist paper from Prima. I think it's Prima. Anyway, it's in my stash. You know how that goes. And I cut out two of these. So I cut out this one using this space paper. And then I cut out 3 layers. Yeah, I cut out 3 layers of this paper to back it. I've given this tip multiple times, so I'll do it here just in case you've never seen one of my videos. And if you haven't, thanks for watching. So it is basically like, I just redid my stuff. So it's basically like a chipboard piece. Now, it could use 2 more layers, but it's still pretty good. So I made 2 of them. And so you can see how they're dancing, dancing, dancing. Dancing machine. So I was like, that is so fun. Yes. Then, of course, once I was in the mood and I pulled out the other thing that goes with it. So I had this disco paper from, what is that company called? Stamps by Me. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of small. It was on not Amazon. It was on HSN. Right? And I got it. Oh, they've got some other stuff that, like another kit that goes with this, but I just got the paper. And then I pulled out this die because, you know, I had my retro dies together, of course, right? So then I had to make this shoe. And every time I look at this shoe, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. And the guy with the fishbowl in his platforms. That's what I think of every time I see this die, and I just be like, killing it, kills me. I'm like, so I made I made 5, I think, of the shoes. So once again, I took this archivist paper because I'm like, it's not calling to me. You know how you have those paper pads that I guess I didn't finish my little thing. Anyway, paper pads or paper you don't like, use it as layers and then put the paper you like on top of it, and then you can make pieces that are like chipboard. So anyway, what had happened was I took the die and originally I put the black paper on top, and then I put the archivist paper on the bottom and cut them at the same time. So what that did was, because this paper is thick, it left the imprint. See how I didn't cut all the way through? So that way you have a background and then you can lay the other pieces on. So I did that for 2 of them. Well, 2 of them. And then the third one, well, I did it for all 3, but this one cut through because the paper I cut on top was thinner. But anyway, so that's how I did that. So then these 2 I undercut. So let me, so there's this one. And so you can see how here's the black. And then I took that disco paper and inlaid it, and then there's the black one. And then if it doesn't cut all the way out, then you can just cut around it like whoop, and it'll cut it. So then I took this one because you know how I do. Y'all know how I do. I'll take a few, cut them, And so here's this one. So I got the same backer, and then I took other pieces and layered them in. So and I just realized, I was trying to think of like, how could you do this so it'd be like a stacked pump instead of like a boot? You could cut it right there, and that would make it that. And then here's this one. So I had this one, and then I put in the leftover pieces in that. Hopefully you can see these. And then these two, the problem with a die like this is, notice there's no background die. There's no like layering piece behind it. So when it cuts out, it's cool and it leaves you this, you know, this black piece. But if you put it on a project, that project paper is going to pull through. So you can undercut it. So instead of doing this base idea, I got tired of doing that because it requires paper piecing. So in this case, I just took it and put the outline where I wanted it on the paper. So if you can't tell, there's a disco ball right there. That's a disco ball. And then I just undercut it. And so you can see how it doesn't go all the way to the edge in the back until you undercut. And undercutting is relatively easy. Instead of, so you normally cut like this, right? So your scissors are up, boop, boop, boop. But you can undercut simply by turning your scissors basically on the side. So when you do that, your bottom blade kind of goes under. And so instead of you're cutting this, you're basically only cutting the part at the bottom. So I had to do my shoes. So there was that. Then I wanted to play, I wasn't sure, I was having a hard time. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. So then I found this in my stash. And so I used the Summer Charms for my creative time. And basically I did the same thing. I cut them all out of white twice. And then I cut each one 3 more times. No. I cut each one 8 more times. Out of the same archivist paper to make it like chipboard, and then I use my alcohol markers to color some of it up. So you can see that I have a whole handful. So I've got 2 of the flowers, and then you can see the layers. So I did 2 flowers. I did 2 of the fun in the sun. So that one, I cut it, and so you can see the archivist paper on the back. So I cut it in white on the front, and I two-toned it with my alcohol markers. I did another one, and I just left it white. So fun in the sun. Then I did the same thing with the 2 little fairies, because I wasn't sure what color I wanted them. Then I have my ice cream cones, and so what I did for these is I left the archivist paper on top and then added marks. And then this one's the white paper, and then I just colored it that way. And then there's that. And I did little suns. How cute. I like the little yellow one better, but I did the 2 suns. And they had 2 little swimsuits. And then I did a lemon and a lime. I couldn't find my other green, so that was not as lovely as I would like. I did the little shorts, and I did the same thing here. So I put the white layer on top, and then I just colored it. And then this one, I used the paper, and then I put the little black marks on top with a pen. Then I did 2 strawberries. 2 strawberries. How cute. And then there's the other ice cream cone. So those are the embellishments that I made this week. I was having a little bit too much fun, I guess. So thanks for watching. Go check out the other ladies, and I shall see you later. Bye.